The beginning of human history in the Japanese archipelago, specifically when humans first arrived in Japan, remains a topic of ongoing debate. Various estimates suggest arrival dates ranging from 120,000 years ago to 80,000 years ago, or even as recent as 40,000 years ago. However, due to challenges in accurately dating soil layers, some researchers are skeptical about the possibility of human presence before 40,000 years ago. The consensus among scholars is that modern humans, Homo sapiens, likely arrived around 35,000 to 40,000 years ago. During this period, people followed a mobile lifestyle, creating temporary settlements and engaging in hunting and gathering while moving from place to place. Notably, during the early stages of the late Paleolithic period, around 30,000 to 40,000 years ago, large-scale campsite structures known as ring blocks appeared. Examples include the Sumafuruzawa site and the Hinatabayashi site. These ancient inhabitants of Japan used stone tools, including the world's oldest known polished stone axes found at sites like Hinatabayashi. Additionally, intriguing artifacts like the dogu, small clay figurines, from the Iwado site in Oita Prefecture hint at some form of prehistoric belief system. The Japanese archipelago was connected to the Asian mainland during the last ice age, but around 12,000 years ago, rapid global warming led to rising sea levels, separating Japan from the continent. This significant environmental change marked the transition to the Jomon period, except for the southwestern islands. Approximately 20,000 years ago, a type of stone tool called microblade was transmitted from Siberia to Hokkaido, primarily spreading in northern Japan. Additionally, around 14,000 years ago, a different type of microblade reached Kyushu from the mainland, spreading in southwestern Japan. Around 12,000 years ago, as the last ice age ended and rapid global warming led to rising sea levels, the Japanese archipelago separated from the Asian continent. This significant change resulted in cultural and lifestyle shifts for people, except in the southwestern islands, as they transitioned to the subsequent Jomon period. The Jomon period, which corresponds to the Mesolithic and Neolithic eras in world history, began approximately 16,500 years ago and lasted until around 3,000 years ago. The key differences between the Paleolithic, Old Stone Age, and Jomon periods include the emergence of pottery, the formation of settled communities, the reconstruction of long-lasting buildings, and the creation of shell mounds. During this time, the inhabitants of the Japanese archipelago crafted Jomon pottery and gradually transitioned to a sedentary lifestyle, primarily residing in pit dwellings. Notably, a pottery artifact dating back approximately 16,500 years has been discovered in Aomori Prefecture, making it one of the oldest pottery finds in the world. Their daily lives revolved around activities such as hunting with bows and arrows, fishing, and gathering plants. They utilized tools made from chipped stone, obsidian, and bone antler, among others. Hypotheses also suggest that they cultivated crops like grains and nuts. Evidence of rice cultivation dates back to around 6,000 years ago in a shell mound in Okayama Prefecture, revealing that rice farming was practiced during the early Jomon period. The period from the 10th century BCE to around the 3rd century CE is known as the Yayoi period in Japan. The name of this era is derived from the distinctive Yayoi pottery that was prevalent during this time. During the Yayoi period, wet rice cultivation became widespread, and innovations such as bronze and iron tools were introduced. The establishment of an agricultural society centered around rice cultivation led to rapid expansion across various regions of the Japanese archipelago, excluding the northernmost part of Honshu. As agricultural communities formed, they grew in size, and moated villages, known as kofun in Japanese, were established at their centers. The large burial mounds constructed during this period are believed to be the tombs of regional leaders, indicating the emergence of social stratification. The Japanese archipelago was referred to as Wa or Wakoku by China during this time. Some of the larger regional groups maintained maritime connections with Chinese dynasties and were even recognized as countries by China. It is estimated that around 100 such countries engaged in diplomatic exchanges with China during the pre- and post-Common Era periods. The ruler of one of these larger regional groups was granted a golden seal by the Han Dynasty, an ancient Chinese dynasty. Over time, these large regional groups strengthened their political ties and formed a political confederation known as the Yamato Confederation around the early 2nd century CE. The leader of this confederation was called the King of Wa, and one of the earliest known kings was Sui Shou. While the Yamato Confederation initially enjoyed political stability, internal strife known as the Great Wa Rebellion occurred in the latter half of the 2nd century. Subsequently, Queen Himiko of Yamatai, also known as Yamataikoku, ascended to the throne as the ruler of Wa. Queen Himiko sought stability through diplomatic relations with the Wei dynasty, which controlled northern China during the Three Kingdoms period. Before World War II, it was commonly believed that the first emperor of Japan ascended to the throne around the early part of this Yayoi period, corresponding to approximately 660 BC when calculated backward from the reign years recorded in the Nihon Shoki, Chronicles of Japan. However, this view is not universally accepted in modern historical scholarship.